Hey, it's Chris Edge inside Studio J. I am here with Will Kiley, and we are chatting about Neighbor to Neighbor, an awesome organization here in Raleigh. Will, give us the big picture. What is Neighbor to Neighbor?
Yeah. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Neighbor to Neighbor is a community development organization in Southeast Raleigh. We're on Blunt and Bragg Street.
Okay.
Down by the Shell on your way out of town towards 40.
Yeah.
We've been there for this will be our 28th year.
Wow.
And we sort of, if Neighbor to Neighbor is an airplane, we have two wings of the airplane. One is an education focus, and then one is an employment focus.
Okay.
We started as an education program, one-on-one mentoring for elementary school students and advocating in schools. As we work with students and realize what are some of the challenges that lead to someone being behind underneath grade level, a lot of that has to do with employment, a lot of that has to do with housing. It's hard to stay on grade level if you're changing schools. It's hard to stay on grade level if you're hungry. It's hard to stay on grade level if your home life is volatile. And as we got closer and closer with parents, realized how hard it is to parent underneath while you're withstanding the violence of poverty, we got more and more engaged with employment. Right. And so for a while, we were one of the biggest GED accrediting institutions in North Carolina. We realized a GED doesn't really open up doors the way we wanted it to. And so we started taking employment into our own hands.
Yeah.
We run a lawn care company, a cleaning company, and a moving company for adults with barriers to employment. And then we run a one-on-one academic mentoring program for elementary school students needing academic intervention. And then we run a youth employment program that is a balance of one-on-one academic mentorship and employment skills and small business and entrepreneurship and community development. And so the teen program is kind of that bridge between education and employment. We have some basketball leagues and a history of basketball leagues. We're a community center. We used to have a skate park. So for 28 years, we're a place where people, I think, those are our programs, but the community, building community, is what we do. And so it's a place that a lot of people would say they own a piece of. It's a place where a lot of people drop in on a daily basis. So those are the things that kind of build our funding. Those are things that we do every day, education and employment, but also just building community and being a place where people can drop in Southeast Raleigh is a big part of our identity as well.
Do you think people understand or are aware of the actual need?
I think that relationship moves ideas into action. And so I think people have ideas about housing crisis. I think people have ideas about opportunities for public education to improve. I think people have ideas about inflation putting pressure on us. I think relationship changes ideas into action. When you know a kid who's struggling, when you know a kid who doesn't have the resources that they need to be as excellent as they are, when you can put a name to an idea, it changes things really dramatically. And so I think people who can put a name to those types of pressures know them in an intimate way.
Can you walk us through what the process might be? Like you've identified somebody that needs help, or they've come out to you, and then what happens?
So if it's a student, a lot of it has to do with school counselors and parents. So a parent often knows, right? I want to do best by my kid, and my kid's falling behind in reading, my kid's falling behind in math. They need a place that will really invest in them. And I've heard through the grapevine, or I've heard through family and friends, that this is what's going on. We're pretty neighborhood based, so we have school partnerships, and there are a couple of different neighborhoods that we're deeply rooted in. And so folks in those neighborhoods are also hey, when that van comes to pick up this kid, my kid could also use some help in math, or my kid could use some help in reading. They sign up for our program. Our program's incredibly inefficient. So if I go to Neighbor on Mondays for reading, I have a mentor, a volunteer who meets only with me and sits only with me. If I come for 4 days, I have 4 different mentors. I have a different person who comes on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So we have a outrageous kind of volunteer to student ratio, but we believe that ratio is what makes it work. And so it is inefficient. There's no rocket science, but we get kids back up to grade level about 2 times faster than the national average, and it's because they're sitting one-on-one with someone. And so if you sign up as a kid, as a parent, we have to make sure that we have those volunteers lined up. And then once we do have those volunteers lined up, then we can figure out a transportation schedule, figure out your schedule. We design the curriculum, and then the mentor goes through that curriculum with the student.
Gotcha. And how would somebody that wants to be a mentor do that?
Yeah, I think mentor. I mean, I'm partial, but I think mentoring is one of the best volunteer opportunities in the city in regard to how meaningful it is, but how kind of little prep you need. So it is 1 hour a week from September to May. you sign up on our website, neighbor to neighbor, n2noutreach.org, and there's a volunteer interest form, and you can kind of specify math, reading, elementary school, middle school, high school, and then we'll reach out to you and have a bigger conversation about what that means, where you want to be. But what I think is amazing is, like, let's say you mentor at 4:30 on Tuesdays. You can pull into our parking lot at 4:29, walk in at 4:30, high five the student that you mentor with, maybe play some basketball for a second, maybe skate for a second, and then grab their binder that was made by teachers for them, and then move through that with them. So you don't have to prepare ahead of time. You don't have to worry about it afterwards, but you're going to do something really meaningful that moves the needle for that student in that hour. You're going to know that kid specifically. They're going to know you specifically. You're going to put a name and a face to an idea, and I think it's going to change you in really beautiful ways. So most of our mentors stick around for 3 to 4 years, which is also impressive, and a testament to wanting to be a part of that community.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of the success stories? Do you have stories of kids that have come through the program and gone on to bigger and better things?
Absolutely. I want to right size what a success story looks like.
Yes,
so
please do.
Last spring, a student came to me, and she'd been out of school for about 2.5 years. Her little brother has really significant health challenges. When I first started picking her up, I was picking her up from a hotel on Capitol. They've now found consistent housing. But she was wildly behind in school, and she's super, super bright. But it's like getting back to school when you're that far out, you're only going like, a handful of days a year, can feel like trying to jump on a moving train, I might get hurt if I try and jump on. It might not be worth the effort to jump on. I go to school, I feel so far behind that feels like a waste of time. My mom needs me at home watching my brother. And it just kind of compounds and snowballs. And so instead of starting with academics, we started with employment. So she came by neighbor to neighbor, and we cooked snacks for the kids, and the mentors after schools were making nachos and tacos and all those things. And the first thing she did was get paid to help us cook in the kitchen. She named that as a job she wanted to do, and she starts cooking and handing food to meeting younger students by serving up nachos is like a great way to say, like, I want to be here. I'm a contributor here. Then she started mentoring younger students in reading and math. She might be behind in high school, but she's definitely capable of elementary school reading and math, and a great mentor and a really dynamic personality. And then in the spring, we slowly, last month or two, started to kind of chip away at all of this work that had been put online for her to catch up on, which was anxiety producing, overwhelming, but we started to kind of chip away at it. And the rest of the day is fun. Like, I feel great serving up these nachos. I can handle like a little bit of the anxiety of like starting to chip back away at math after 2 years. 2 days ago, she and her mom and I got her enrolled in Central Wake, which is a really phenomenal alternative school in Southeast Raleigh, near Southeast YMCA. But she called me saying, like, I got the application filled out. My mom's down. We have like all of Monday. We can come anytime Monday. Like, let's go to Central Wake. Let's get signed up. We'd done a tour previously. It was a little scary. We got through the tour. She thought about it all summer. She signed herself up. We got her enrolled. She started yesterday. Today's Wednesday. She started today. She's at orientation right now. And I think that's a great success story of saying, like, I'm in so deep I like can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's start with employment. Let's move to service. Let's get to academics. Right. And let's get you back on board.
And that's your process.
And that's our process with teens. And I think that's a huge success. I think that's like the right size success story. When you feel like you're back on the train and the train's moving with you.
Right. And you now have a team of people that are supporting you, that are there for you, that can answer questions and provide that support. What are your bigger needs? We talked about volunteering, which is obviously a need, but are there financial needs? Are there other, like, what can people do to help you specifically? Yeah,
I would say some of the big needs are our cleaning company and our lawn care company always need clients.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So like we pay livable wages. It starts at $20 an hour for folks who have barriers to employment. We also run, I think, like pretty remarkable cleaning company, a pretty remarkable lawn care company, because you know as an employee that if you do a great job, you're making room for someone else to get a job. Like the more we scale, the more people we can hire, and you're paid a really fair wage, and like the profit is getting put back into the company. And so there's sort of employee ownership there. So I'm not just cleaning your house for somebody else. I am cleaning your house for somebody else. I'm cleaning it for my friend who also needs a job, right?
Yeah.
So let's do a phenomenal job. So neighbor cleaning and neighbor lawn care need clients, can always benefit from clients. And we can keep, the beauty of those two industries is we can keep scaling crews. So the more people, the more clients we can sign up, the more crews we can hire, the larger we can grow. So like we're always ready to take on more clients there. Cleaning also has a commercial side. So if you own a business, and nighttime cleaning has been like an amazing boon for us. So we could use commercial clients.
Yeah.
It's at a fair market rate. It's not more expensive than our competitors. It's like right at rate, but I think the quality is probably higher because of the passion and the buy-in. And the social impact is enormous. So we can always use clients. We can always use mentors. We've started a teen candle business. So we're looking to sling some candles if you're interested. And so we could also use clients in that way. And there are some, I won't name them now because they're still kind of cooking, but there are some teen businesses that'll need some more teen businesses that'll need some clients this fall and this spring. So I would say, yeah, like mentoring and participating in neighbor enterprises are the two best ways to get involved.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you be a part of Songs for Change this quarter. Songsforchange.org for more details on that. It's funded by the United Way and presented by Coastal Credit Union. Will, from Neighbor to Neighbor, so awesome to have you here. And thanks for coming by.
Great to be here. Thank you.